The secret to any good vegan recipe is honestly in the sauce. And that is why today I'm about to show you 5 vegan sauce recipes that everyone needs to know. Number 1 is white bean queso sauce. So we're gonna warm up all the ingredients on the pan first and then transfer it to our blender. So you'll turn on the oven to about medium-high heat. Then you'll take any type of white beans, as long as they're not chickpeas, and add the entire can with the liquid to the pan. Next, you'll add 2 cloves of garlic. We wanna make sure that gets nice and warm. Next, we'll add some raw cashews. Now I want to soften these cashews, so I'm gonna add them in next so that the heat will soften them to make them easier to blend. So this is a 1/2 cup of raw cashews. Then we add 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. This is what's gonna give it the nice, cheesy, yummy, delicious flavor. And I'm actually gonna do a heaping cup of nutritional yeast, so a little bit more than 1/4 cup. Nice and heaping full. Next is about 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, just enough to add a little bit of flavor, but not too much that it overpowers the flavor of the queso. Now here's where this dish really shines, and it's in the smoked paprika. We need about 1/2 teaspoon. You could even go a little bit more than 1/2 teaspoon, or a little bit more if you really like the flavor of smoked paprika. And that is where we're gonna get that really yummy, smoky, delicious flavor. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, same with the paprika. If you like it a little saltier, you can go a little bit more, kind of those heaping measurements here. Awesome, then we're just gonna let this cook for another minute or 2, just to heat everything up so it's really easy to blend. And it gives a chance for those flavors to really get a lot more depth of flavor. Smells so good. Like, this smells so yummy. Now, once everything is warmed through, but not too cooked that you're starting to see it starting to cook on the pan. You don't want it to cook on the pan. We want all of those flavors to be in the sauce. We just want it nice and warm, and then we'll transfer this to our blender. Okay, it's time to transfer it to the blender. Now, if you're short on time, you could skip this step of warming it up, but it really does just make the flavor a little bit deeper. Time to blend it up. Yum. Now this version is pretty thick. I used 1/2 cup of cashews. So if you want a thinner version, then you can use 1/4 cup of cashews. You can kind of play around with the cashews to make it thicker or thinner. What I love about this is it's a great filling for inside quesadillas. It's nice and thick. You can put any other toppings inside that quesadilla. It's super yummy. It's perfect for that. It's also really great for dips. Let's try it out. Some people to sample, my daughter and her friend. What do you think?
It's good.
Good, huh? It's really yummy. A dip sauce.
Crazy.
You guys like it?
Yeah.
You love it? Yum, yum. Number 2 is a cashew spicy mayo. So we're gonna just soak the cashews first. Even though I have a high-speed blender, I always find it a lot better if I can soak them first. So we'll first start with 1/2 cup of raw cashews soaked. And while I put the rest of the ingredients together, that's just gonna sit in some hot water. Now in the blender, I'm going to put 1/4 cup of water plus 1 tablespoon. That's 5 tablespoons total of water. Then we'll take 1 tablespoon of lime juice, which ends up being the juice of 1/2 of a lime. 1 tablespoon of lime juice. And then 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. 1 and 2. Next, we'll take 2 teaspoons of tamari or soy sauce. 1 and 2. And then the secret ingredient is going to be 1 tablespoon of sriracha. Now, I don't have sriracha on hand, so I'm just gonna use hot sauce, and it ends up tasting really good as well. So sriracha or hot sauce, 1 full tablespoon. Then I will rinse my cashews. Now that they've soaked for a little bit in some hot water, I'll just rinse those out and then add them as well. Perfect, let's mix it up. Yum. This sauce is really good with sushi or spring rolls or any type of rice, cucumbers, peppers. Honestly, this is really good on sandwiches too. It's just your regular mayo. Let's try it with a cucumber. Nice and thick and creamy. This is really good. I'm a fan. Honestly, I feel like the best type of meal prep is when you have sauces on hand. Cashew spicy mayo. Hey, real quick, have you signed up for my free 1-week vegan plant-based meal guide? If not, you definitely need to snag it by clicking on the link below. It is a full 1 week of vegan, whole food, plant-based recipes, and I even include a shopping list. Make sure you grab it every season because I switch it out every spring, fall, and summer. So click on the link below. Number 3 is a sweet potato caramel sauce. We start by microwaving a small sweet potato for about 5 minutes. I'm going to double the recipe, so while the sweet potato is cooking, we'll add in all of the other ingredients. I'm using a cup of soy milk. Any type of plant milk works, but the creamier, the better. So I like that soy milk is nice and creamy, a lot more than almond milk is. And again, I'm doubling the recipe, so it's a cup of soy milk, and then a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And then here is the secret, coconut sugar. It has to be coconut sugar. Regular sugar will not work. This is what makes it into a caramel flavor and texture and appearance. We'll go ahead and add a half a cup of coconut sugar. It's a lot of sugar, I know. That's what makes it taste so good. A half a cup of coconut sugar. Okay, I got the cooked and very hot sweet potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and just peel it, hot, with my fingers. Another good way is just cut it open and then scrape it out. Now it's about a half a cup, and usually it's pretty easy to see that's like a small sweet potato. You could mush it down and measure it exactly if you wanted, but I've made this sauce before and this size was almost exactly half a cup. Hot! All right, let's mix it all up. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. Now this sauce is amazing as like a syrup over pancakes, but it's also really good with apples. It's really good. Holy cow. Wow. It's a little runny. You could totally make it thicker by adding more sweet potato, but it is delicious. I'm just gonna add it to an old maple syrup jar so we can easily use it for pancakes in the morning. If I write that there's sweet potatoes in it, no one's gonna want it. So I just left that part out. Number 4 is a vegan yum yum sauce. It is really yum. So you'll need 2/3 cup of water, 1 cup of cooked chickpeas. I'm gonna throw in a little extra. It'll be a little thicker, it's fine. 1/4 cup nutritional yeast, and then 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, which is about a lemon, but we're just gonna double check that. A fresh lemon juice. Yeah, it should be the juice of a full, large lemon. Then we'll do 1/2 cup of almond flour. Super interesting mix. We got chickpeas, we got almond flour, and somehow this turns into a sauce. Next is 4 cloves of minced garlic, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of curry powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano. Oregano. I have a big mess over here. Usually I hide this mess from you. All right, let's go ahead and mix it up. I just grabbed a little bit of rice. I'm gonna put it on top to taste test it. Eva, what are you doing in the fridge? That's yummy. Yum, yum. It's actually really good. I like the little hint of curry, but not super strong. It's totally different than the sriracha sauce. And it feels a lot lighter. It's made with chickpeas, not cashews. But yeah, it's really good. And it's crazy that there's almond flour in here too. So good. And for number 5, we have an oil-free and nut-free vegan pesto sauce. You want a bunch of fresh basil. This is from my little garden. And then you want a bunch of parsley. Instead of nuts, we're using 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. Instead of Parmesan cheese, we use nutritional yeast. And it is 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Then 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, which is about 1/2 of a lemon. Instead of oil, we use an avocado. So we're gonna use this whole Haas avocado, cut it up, and I'm just gonna squeeze it in. If you had a large avocado, you would just use 1/2 of it. These are pretty small. Now you add salt to taste, but I know I'm gonna need about a teaspoon of salt. All right, now let's mix everything together. I ended up adding 1/2 cup of water to help mix everything up. Holy cow, this is so good. This is so good. Big fan. Now, as with any pesto, this is perfect with pasta, but it's also really great on sandwiches, especially my caprese sandwich. This, yeah, so good. You can find the recipe to my caprese sandwich right here. If you loved this sauce recipe video, I know you'll absolutely love my other video where I show you my top 10 salad dressings. Make sure to check that one out as well. Yay!
Yay!